Good afternoon, guys. How are you all? Do trust you are well. So I've been asked by a lovely group of people from MKC Careers to come on today as a bit of a mentor, if you like, to chat with young kids who are looking to go out of school or into university and are choosing what career path to take. And of course, from my side, it's entertainment. So what I'm doing is lending my experience for my last 20 years in the industry to all these kids that are going to come online today throughout the UAE, and fingers crossed, keep them inspired, and get them into careers inside the entertainment industry. So I'll be having a chat here with all the guys, so you can stay through the entire live and watch right through. So enjoy. We're going to get going. How are you today? You good?
Thank you, Hugsy. I'm good. I hope the very same for you. You have just given me a feeling of, generally I do that. But it's amazing. So I'll just, many people have joined. Thank you, parents and students and individuals who are aspiring to be a part of this entertainment industry and have taken out time on a Friday to attend the career talk on this. And with us is today Hugsy. He is more than 20 years of experience in this field, and he is just back from Japan after covering up the Paralympics, which makes me so excited. I have a lot of questions to ask about that. And before I start with the career talk on this, I would just like to request everyone that it is an interactive session. If you have any questions, please put it in the chat box and I will take it on your behalf as the whole conversation progresses. So let's go ahead. Before we start up with the question answers, I just want to give a brief background. So the glitz and the glam of the entertainment industry are charming, especially to our young generations. Unlike the earlier days, 20th centuries, in which entertainment industry was considered to be as, it was a little troublesome for the parents to think about it. And it was considered to be, not as a career. It was not even considered as a hobby. It was something which everybody thought that it is just for, killing of time or the time not being utilized in a proper way. But nowadays, students consider being part of the industry as a serious planned option. They actually take it as a proper career category. You might be among them and you might be intrigued by the lifestyles of the rich and the famous people, and you might be in the awe of being on television, being on the newspapers, being on the page 3 coverages. But however, being the spotlight all the time is not everybody's cup of tea. And if you're one of them, then you can be still part of the entertainment industry. Today, we are excited to have Hugsy, who's in a part of our entertainment industry, and he has more than 20 years of experience.
Hi, guys.
Sorry?
I said hello.
Yeah, okay. And he has been a successful voice actor, presenter, host, and many more things, which he himself will talk about today. So welcome, Hugsy, to the MKCS Career Talk.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for having me. It's an absolute pleasure to be here and share some of my wealth of knowledge with you guys. As I say, I've been in the industry for over 20 years. I started off at the mere old age of 15, and I broke into the entertainment industry that is now that I'm working in, probably in my mid-20s. I now sit as a very young-minded 45-year-old with a lot of experience under my belt, and I'm happy to be here to share and hopefully inspire some of the visitors you've got here onto your podcast.
That is an amazing journey. So Hugsy, before we go on the career guidance part, I want to know that your name is very unique. Do you have a story behind it?
Yeah, so Hugsy was a name that actually, I'm a public school boy from the UK. So I went to a boarding school in the UK called the Duke of York's, and there it was a military boarding school, and everyone was called by their surname. But I have an older and a younger brother, and so I don't know how it happened, but somewhere through my career I adopted the name Hugsy, which is an acronym of my surname, which is Huggins, and Hugsy sort of stuck around. And then I was trading for many years as a TV presenter with my with my birth name, which is Mark Huggins. And Mark sort of was who I was known as. And then I came to Dubai, and in 2007, I joined Dubai 92 as a radio presenter. And they already had a Mark on the network. And so the genius, now he was, of a program director asked me very, very simply was, do you have another name? And I was like, well, of course I do, but I don't know which one you want it to be. So I kind of very shyly said, well, I've got this silly name that only my friends from boarding school call me, and it's Hugsy. And he was like, it works. And overnight, I became Hugsy on Dubai 92. And I was on 92 for 2.5 years, and had a wonderful time there working on radio. It was the first ever time I'd worked as a radio presenter. Before that, I was working only in television. And under the old adage and funniness that, you know, radio was for ugly people and TV's for the pretty people.
Not at all anymore.
So I was on 92 for a while. I really loved being on that network. It was great. I was blessed to be able to also work as a producer there, because I was working as a television producer and presenter in the UK. And when I moved out here, I would find a lot that my experience from the UK and the networks I'd worked with out there were getting the same response, which is that I was overqualified. And even though I'd say to people, look, you know, abuse my talent, you know, I just need to work. I found that kind of pushback when I first got here, which led me to take the job in radio. And so the name Hugsy came around from the radio, and it stuck. And I'm glad it did. And it became a brand in around about 2009. I turned it into a global brand, and brand Hugsy is now what's out there. And it's how I trade. And every day I get the same question from everybody wherever I go is Hugsy your real name? And I go, well, yeah, because for me, it's the name that I choose, and I choose to have the name Hugsy. So that's why I have it. But yeah, I mean, my mum used to call me Mark. She stopped. My mum even refers to herself as Mummy Hugsy, which I think is great.
Oh, how cute. Great. I mean, I never expected that there was such a wonderful achievement story behind it, but you are a brand and you've already achieved so much in this field.
Thank you.
So
yeah, it's all down to ARN. ARN Network are the ones who gave me the name, and it's from there. I've kept it and made a success of it, which is cool.
You know, wonders happen that way only. It is not planned. It just happens and it clicks, and it's all part of the destiny.
Agreed.
Yeah. So after hearing you, I want to know, Hugsy, that when did you realize that you want to go for this careers in the entertainment industry, and how were your parents' reaction towards it?
So, I mean, for me personally, I was probably about 15 when I got into the industry, and it was all by mistake. I was hell-bent on wanting to become an aircraft and an airline pilot when I was 15, 16 years old, and I thought that's what I wanted to do. Okay. And I was up in my hometown of Manchester, and I was in the street, walking down the high street of Manchester, and the lady stopped me and said, I think you should be a model. And I was like, yeah, good one, like whatever. And she gave me this business card, and I took the business card to my mum, and my mum was like, oh, no, that's not a real job. And I was like, yes, it is. Like, I don't know. Anyway, so I ended up taking a modeling course that, bless my grandmother, paid for. And I went on this course, and the next thing was I was accepted by this agency, and I started working as a model, and I was a model for about 15 years. And in the time, what that did by getting into just the modeling industry, it really opened up all the doors to other opportunities for me. And so the modeling industry pushed me into the acting world, and I didn't really like the acting world that much. It didn't feel like I was being honest to myself, and it wasn't really where I felt I fitted. And then by sheer chance, I was coming up from a modeling casting in London on a train with a friend of mine. And I was sitting talking to my friend on the train, and this gentleman leaned over between the sort of the alleyway through the middle of the chairs, and just told me he thought I had an amazing voice and I should work with him as a presenter. I was 19 years old. didn't know anything about this presenting world at all. And it just so happened that, long story short, this guy was one of the executive producers for BBC Two Education, and he had a show for me that he wanted me to work in. And I went down to London maybe 2 weeks later for a screen test, which is one thing that you'll learn a lot about when you're doing this kind of work, is you'll go for a screen test. Is what they call auditions. And I went and did the screen test, and the guy was just, "We love you." Teamed me up with a girl that they already had in mind to work for. And the next thing was I had produced my first show and presented my first show for BBC Two Education, which was crazy. And from that point on, I knew that, nah, this is where I should be. This is my career path, and I should be doing this. And, I guess my mum, she's very much a traditionalist in that, you should have a regular career, maybe in banking, or maybe, a carpenter, or someone that has like a steady office job with a regular every single month salary. And I guess, I'm a middle child, so I have a younger brother and an older brother, and now a younger sister as well. And I'm the maverick. I mean, I was the maverick of the three boys. And, my older brother has a wonderful career. My younger brother really went to university, went to college and trained as a carpenter. Now my little brother works on Hollywood movies, working as a grip. So he's phenomenal. He does all that stuff, and he has a wonderful career. And my older brother works for Sony. So we're very different, but I've stayed true to myself, what I want to do, which is being in entertainment, and being from a model into a presenter, into working now in events and global events around the world. And I think, even though my mom, bless her, would be saying, this is not a real job. They never saw me working. Well, I used to earn good money, but I wasn't having a regular go to work 9 to 5 every single day. But I think that I've proven everyone wrong.
Yeah, of course. So Hugsy, tell me, when you realized this and you were lucky enough to get a breakthrough. Have you taken any professional courses also for the same, or it is just, you have learned while you have been doing all the work?
So I would say, yes, I have taken courses, and I feel like, for me, especially in the entertainment industry, it's not really something you can be taught. It's something really where you get a good base, and from there you develop on where you want to move to. So, for instance, I have a base in media communication, which sort of is almost a journalistic side of things, and I moved the journalism into broadcast journalism. So that's really what presenters are called. We are broadcast journalists. So I think, for me, I learned so much from being on the job and on the job training than I ever earned from sitting in a classroom. But obviously, I'll always sort of revert back to, the teachers that taught me about the basics of being inside this industry. And, if you can take on board things like, even for instance, I know people, and I'm there myself, my A-levels were in French and business studies and things like that. So I didn't take a media angle from the very beginning, but I took all of those things that I had in my arsenal, if you like. And I was like, what I could do with this is take all of those skill sets and transfer them over into the entertainment industry, which is what I did. And I think, regardless of where you are right now, it doesn't really matter. If you have a passion for something, I think most importantly, above anything else, don't get into the entertainment industry unless you want to live and breathe this industry, because it's not something that you can just, I'll have a try. It's not that kind of industry. And I would say to anyone who's looking to get into the industry, don't get into it because you think it's glamorous. You think that it's going to make you famous. None of those things are ever going to happen. You have to get in, get your feet dirty, get your hands dirty, get your face dirty, because there are so many people who I class as almost wannabes that want to do this because they think they're going to be famous. Where there's people like myself and other career people who have been in the industry for a long time that are sitting saying, actually, we've done all the hard work. We did all the hard graft to get to where we're at. I don't think that I'm famous. I don't think that people look at me and say, oh, he's famous. I do a job that I'm blessed to have from the very beginning because I get to talk for a living. I mean, how amazing is that? But I've also done all the groundwork, and I've done all the hard work over 20 years, taking jobs that paid me nothing because I knew it was the next step on the rung of the ladder and the next step of the rung of the ladder. I think that for me was much more important than me going, how can I manipulate this industry to be famous for 15 minutes? Didn't care about that. I wanted a long career that would go on and I could work because there are so many wonderful facets. There's like a rainbow, if you like, of opportunities that you can take inside entertainment. The entertainment industry is huge. It is a massive, massive industry. So the part of it that we all see on the magazines, on the television, everything else, where it's one solo person that is standing there famous. What you don't understand is there are hundreds of people behind them that have made that happen. And making all those connections and getting the right team around you and making sure that you're with the right people who will lift you up and not pull you down. That's the key thing about being in entertainment. It's not about being famous. It's about doing a job that you absolutely love. People say the old adage, if you do a job that you love, you'll never work a day in your life. That's my life every single day.
That's what I'm trying to tell people. Pick up your passion as your career, and then no day will be boring.
Absolutely. And the great thing about what I do now in my career is that every day is different and it's amazing. And I get to, some days I'll be on set working in a green screen room where I'm in a green box talking to a camera. And they put the whole surroundings around me. Other times, I can be with other presenters co-hosting. And then other times I'm doing voiceovers. Then I get to go and do amazing things like I'll work on Formula One around the world. And I go to work on huge festivals as the host of the show, which has been, unbelievable for me. I've really had such an amazing time. And all those things are all still inside the entertainment industry. And I still get to do those things every single day, which is amazing. And it's always constantly changing. So even if if for instance, you've got someone who's really good at organizing and they think, how could I transfer this skill into the entertainment industry? Well, there's so many. You can go and be an event organizer. You can go and be, an event director and build yourself up to that. You could go and even work in, ticketing. You could go work in artist liaison. There are so many different opportunities and so many different avenues you can go down and transfer the skills that you've gained from schools, colleges, universities, and move those into this industry because it's all about planning. It's all about, yes, you may see somebody who's famous sitting on the television screen, but the people behind them, they're the guys that are doing all the hard work, the agents, the managers, the publicists, the people looking after the brand, the social media managers. All these people, all those things are in the entertainment industry. Yeah. And if those things take your fancy, then come, be part of the industry and be part of something that is not just seeing someone in a magazine or on television. That's the end product of a lot of people's really hard work.
I think it's time to also reframe the measures of having the limelight and being successful and, being in the front of the camera. The success varies, if you're a prominent name in your work frame, like when in your voiceover field, if people, the first name which comes into the mind is Hugsy, then you are successful, then you have the limelight.
Of course.
It doesn't matter whether you're always in the front of the cameras and doing that. So
I think it's also important to, and I think it's really important for everyone who's here listening to know as well, that it's really important for you to be true to who you are, because there's so many people that are so, they care so much about other people think of them. I think I stopped very, very early in my career caring what anyone thinks about me. Someone's always going to have an opinion on what you're doing, on how you're sounding, on the sort of the clown that you are. I mean, I'm a huge clown. I love to have a joke. I love a bit of banter, everything else. If people think, oh, he's an idiot, then I don't really care. Because for me, I'm doing a job that I love in a career that I absolutely adore. I've made some great money from it, had a great opportunity to go and do other things around the world. And it's all because I stay true to who I am. And I don't care what anybody thinks about me. And I think it's really important that if you are going to get into this industry and you want to be the front of the camera like I am, you have to be really, really thick-skinned. And I think that's probably everything in life as well, where if you do care about the opinion of somebody else, then you are going to always be looking over your shoulder, what are they going to say about me? Or I don't care about that. I literally move forward and I dance to the beat of my own drum. And I think you have to be that kind of person to be in this industry, especially if you want to be where I'm at, which is on the front line of it all, the front of camera. It's the one thing that I would say is the most important thing. If you want to do what I'm doing, then you need to have the thickest skin ever, because someone's always going to be there to try and tell you that you're not good enough, that they're better than you, that they've found someone funnier, and those things, I don't care. I'm being booked for the personality that I am, that I bring to the table. I always try and go into all of my jobs with kindness, love, and respect as the one thing that I want to take there. I'm a storyteller, and that's the one thing that when someone asks me what do I do, I'm a storyteller. I am blessed to be able to go and work for all these brands around the world, and I get to tell their story, and that's what I do. This part of my body is what I use to do my job. The rest of it just sort of backs it up as the as my support.
What you have achieved is all through your work experience, because I understand the time we have studied, there were not many options for the entertainment industry to have professional and degree courses, and if they were there also, there was not so much of awareness about it. But today's generation, if the kids are actually planning a serious career out of it, they can go into the media and mass communication courses. There are some good universities which are providing these courses, and they put the students in a rigorous internships and on the job kind of a training, which gives them the look and feel so this generation is actually having an advantage that they can come more prepared in this industry. When they are ready to enter, they will be point of time when we started
100% agree with you. I also think as well now, the digital age that's now around, and I have a company based here in Dubai, and we are digital marketing experts. And I think from that side of things as well, understanding how to digitally market yourself is really important. I mean, now with your Instagrams, your TikToks, and everything else that's going on in the world, I think the modern generations that are out there, the 14, 15, 16-year-olds are thinking, well, should I or can I get into this kind of career? Test it. Go onto TikTok, go onto Instagram, go onto your to your Snapchat and see whether you've got something that people want to listen to, people want to be part of, people want to become part of your tribe, because they do. That's how you get a following, and that's how you get to the point where you become a specialist in your marketplace, and that's the most important thing. I mean, I'm really on that as well. It doesn't really matter what you're looking to do with inside the entertainment industry. If you can get to something where you're a specialist, you'll get booked and recognized and paid, because that's the most why we're doing this. We're doing this to make a salary. Become a specialist. Maybe you're at the minute looking to, well, I actually really like gardening. Then go and be a horticulturalist, go and be a biologist in that area, and then bring that back to the entertainment industry so that you can then gift that information, that knowledge that you have, gift that to the world. Because that's what we're here for. Human beings need to be less concerned about self and more concerned about sharing with humanity. I mean, I'm doing this for you today because I want to share the knowledge that I've gained over 20 years with the next generation. It's important to keep this rolling forward. Yes. Holding this information to myself is pointless. It doesn't mean anything. And
I'm sure you're gonna make a positive impact on many people there out.
I hope so. I mean, it's for me, become a specialist in your field and then move forward, because when you're a specialist, people take you seriously. I mean, I've just been blessed in that my personality and the way that I am as a person and the truth I put out to the universe is why I get booked over and over and over again. I've, as you said in your opening monologue, I've just come back from 3 months of being in Tokyo.
Yeah,
I worked for the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee, so it wasn't just the Paralympics. I worked Olympics as well, and wow. I was I was there working in the capacity as a client liaison. So I was working directly with Team USA, handling on the ground transport, as well as doing things working directly with the athletes. So although it's an entirely different side of what I was doing normally inside the events industry, it was something where I thought, if I can go and work for USOPC and I can go and work for Team America on the biggest sporting event in the world, what am I going to learn from being in that scenario, taking that blessing, that opportunity that came my way in my life, and go, what can I learn from this? And what I learned was so much. I met some amazing people that now become part of my global family, that I've been able to say, do you know something? That was well worth me going to Japan. And remember this, they paid for everything and they paid me to be there. So what an amazing opportunity to be able to go and travel and see an entirely other world, an entire other culture, an entire other country, as well as working for the biggest sporting event in the world with the #1 team in the world. Yeah. And I took it like, wow, this is going to be phenomenal. And every day,
there's nothing better than, doing the work of your choice and getting paid for it.
Precisely. But that came, I would say that was almost me hitting the summit of the Everest of my career. Going to the Olympic Games was something I never thought in a million years. Being that 19-year-old guy being asked on a train, would he like to be a presenter, to now being at the point where I got to go to Tokyo for 3 months and work on the biggest sporting event in the world.
Yeah.
And those two areas, I never thought in a million years would marry up, but they have. And that was just my reality. I've just come back from 3 months of being out in there. And because of the way I am as a person and the truth that I keep to myself, guess what? They've invited me to go and work for them again at the Winter Olympics in Beijing. So that's maybe the next step I'm going to take.
Yeah, I'm surely you are a person to be always in touch with.
Yeah, I've got good contacts.
Great. So here comes the few questions I can see in the chat box.
Bring them to me.
Yeah, so it's Praful. Praful is asking, hi, Mr. Hugsy. I like hosting events, but I always get cold feet when I get there in front of everyone. How can we overcome it?
Okay, I get asked this all the time, and I get asked, is that what happens to me as well? The answer is 100% yes. If you don't have nerves when you're going onto stage or going to public speak, then guess what? You're not a real human being. I am probably one of the cockiest people you will meet. And you give me a microphone and I'm the guy that, is the entertainer. Yeah. So even when I go on stage, every time I get this rush of adrenaline, I get this rush of nerves, I get this rush of, oh my gosh. And I've done thousands of events in front of millions of people over the time. And so you imagine, I've been in a situation exactly the same as this person has, where of course, it's only natural to feel that way. What you've got to remember is the knowledge that you have, that you've been given prior to going on stage with the event organizers. They've given you all the tools of your trade. They've given you everything that you need. And so all you have to do is put that into your mind and go on stage and deliver the story. That's the whole thing with hosting and presenting on a show. You're not presenting a show, you're telling a story for your client. Yeah. And you've got to tell the story. Now, one thing I'll pass on to you, and I got this very early in my career. I got told by someone who was a mentor of mine for many, many years, don't learn the words, let the words learn you. Because people are booking you as a personality. People are booking you because you're a celebrity host or whatever they want to call it. So if they're booking you for being you, then be you. There's no point in saying, well, I'm going to be a robot for, XYZ brand right now. No, I'm always Hugsy. I'm telling the story of the brand.
Yeah. And
I bring that special, to use the French, je ne sais quoi, to the table that they are booking me for. They're not booking, they can book any host they want to book, but they book Hugsy because I bring the brand to the table. I bring the personality. I bring the delivery skills. I bring the live entertainment experience. And those things only come in time. But yeah, do I step on stage? I'm like, before I go on, of course, because I'm normal. And if you're not doing that and you're in my game, then there's something very strange. I mean, even before I left for Japan, I did a job that was at the Pearl inside of the W. And that's an enormous stage. And we had probably 1,600 people there. And I had to go on and do the opening address to this entire event. And I was through the side of the stage, and I have rituals that I do before I go on. I breathe, and I breathe, because the more oxygen you are going over your vocal cords, the calmer you're going to be, and the voices are going to crack. And then I jump up and down, like I get myself hyped up and hyped up and hyped up. And then when it's about to go, and they're going to give me the countdown from 3, 2, 1 to go on, I am literally in a state of panic. Like, am I going to forget the words? Am I going to be able to do this? Oh my gosh, can I do it? You know, are people going to look and laugh at me? What should I do? How should I? And I start overthinking myself. What I've got to think is, no, clear the mind, take a deep breath. You can do this. You've had the script, you've learned the script. There's an auto cue when you go out, go and kill it. And what did? I walked on and I was Hugsy. And so I got everyone up doing Mexican waves all around the entire auditorium, because that's how I wanted to open the show. You know, they booked me. So I got them up. I got people dancing before I even started doing anything with regards to the delivery of the story. I did a bit of Hugsy first, which was get them up, get them dancing, doing Mexican waves, cheering, chanting. And then they all sat down again and they were all hyped, ready to go. And I delivered the message. And I deliver exactly what the client wants me to deliver. But that's them booking me. And that's what they get when they book me. They
and
get
having cold feet is very normal. Yeah.
Again, I'm sorry?
I'm saying having cold feet is very normal. You need to just, you know, it's
normal.
the initial glitch. And then when you are on the stage and when you're facing the audience, it's fine.
But I'll say this. I mean, Sasha Fierce is the name that we know. Beyonce is the person. She has Sasha Fierce because that's Hugsy is my onstage alter ego. That's who goes on stage. Mark's
and I think even if you mess up also, you know, because it's error is to the human. So even if you mess up at that point of time, it's completely okay. People don't remember everything, you know, you have to just know how to balance it out.
Sure. But if you don't mess up, guess what? You're not human. I'll tell you a quick story that will make everyone listening laugh. Yeah. I walked on to do a brand new mobile phone launch for Etisalat. Okay, I was posting it on there, blah, 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 blah. What did I do? I walked on and the first thing I said was the name Do, their biggest competitor. And I'm standing with thousands of people looking at me going,
what?
And I said, dude,
who paid you for that?
You know, and did the people who were paying me go crazy? Yeah, but you know something? I'm a human being. We make mistakes, and you know, if you don't make mistakes, how do you learn to then not make those mistakes again?
But see how you managed it. It was your confidence. It's your, you know, so that's what is needed.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, my little bit of advice to the person who asked, do I get nervous, or is it normal to get nervous? Hell yes, it's normal to get nervous, and embrace that, because if you don't have the nerves, then guess what? You're not doing it right.
Right. So here we have another question. Hugsy, let me just check. Yeah.
Quickly though, hello to everyone on my Instagram live. I can see you all there, all waving away. Thank you so much for being here. This is an amazing opportunity I've just taken with this great company who are inspiring the next generation of people in my industry. So thank you guys for being on the Instagram live at the same time. So I've got them sitting down here. Look, there they are, sitting watching us at the same time.
Great to be there.
Let's move on to the next question.
Yes, so it's Simon, and Simon says, hi, I am a stand-up comedian and happy to see you speak. Many times I find myself being shortchanged when it comes to paying for my gigs. How can we overcome this part for people like us who are still trying to establish their foothold in the industry?
Okay, very good question. Thank you very much, Simon, for that. Now, I think most importantly, and this is something that's really key in any part of life or any career that you're taking, it's really important for you to have your own personal worth and value. Because if you don't know your value and you don't stick to your value, then of course, people think they can shortchange you all the time. I would say you need to have the confidence to say, this is how much I'm worth, and this is how much I charge, and not even have to justify why you're charging that much money. This is what I'm worth, this is what I charge. And if you don't have the money for that, we're not destined to work together. There are opportunities where you'll say, okay, well, I'll do this at mates rates, or I'll do this at friend rates. But you must also make sure that if you are going to do something for charity, or you're going to do something for a friend, or you're going to do something that's, at a lesser rate, be really, really sure and really certain with them that you're doing it for a cheaper rate this time. But next time, you're expecting full rates. And then what you'll do then is when you go in, I mean, I've done it many, many times, going in and doing mates rate for things. And then people think automatically, oh, hang on, well, we got you cheaper last time. Yeah, but we did a deal. And I made the mistakes myself. I went in and said, yeah, don't worry. What I didn't say is, actually, this is a one-off thing. And instead, I left the door wide open. And then people came back to me asking me, la. So I would say, be very assertive with the value that you feel you bring to the table. There is a market rate. There is what we call in the industry a rate card. And the rate card is something that you set. I set my rate card on the value of what I bring to the table. And that goes down as far as, it might be as a comedian, the material that you're bringing to the table, whether it's an innovative or whether it's something that's been regurgitated or plagiarized from someone else. What sort of circuits are you rotating in? What kind of clubs are you working in? Do you aspire to be at a bigger club? Are you asking that club to do the opening, or you're asking them to do, something for free so they can see how you work and then book you down the line? But at the same time, I would say, I'm happy to do this for free this time, but next time, if you like me, can we do something, with regards to my rate card that I put out for the value of my talent? And I think it's really important for you to understand the value of your talent and then stick to that and don't waver too much. Because if you start saying, well, for instance, I'm 2,000, 2,500 dirhams to come on and do a half an hour or 45-minute show. And then they go, well, we've only got 1,000 in the budget. And then immediately go, yeah, I'll take that. Then they go, oh, we knew he would. If you say, actually, thank you so much for the opportunity, but my value is this, and this is where I'm going to sit. I have this fight the whole time prior to you guys make sense.
Yeah, that's a very great advice, Hugsy. We have another question from Nida, and she says, how important is it to plan for an alternative career in case things don't turn out as you plan?
Great question, and I've got the answer for you. So, yeah, I obviously started off as a fashion model. Wait, I'll do my pose for you. I'll do my Zoolander. So I'd worked in the modeling industry for a while, and obviously I transitioned into being a television presenter. But of course, I take it that I should always have something to fall back on, not because I don't think that I'm good enough in the industry, but also too, like I said before, it's important for you to be a specialist. So if you can bring a specialist subject matter to the table, imagine how many more people you push out of the race and put yourself to the top of the game if you're bringing something to the table that nobody else has. So I did the exact same thing. I was working as a presenter, I was working in radio, and I was like, this isn't going to last forever. I could lose my job in radio tomorrow. I could do anything that would maybe put my career in jeopardy. So what I did is I made a very conscious choice to step into the other side of the industry. So I managed other people's careers because I knew I'm a really good manager and I can manage what's happening. Plus, I built up through my career as a presenter, I built up so many connections and contacts that I thought, how do I monetize this kind of career that I have with the connections that I've made over the many, many years? So what I did is I turned my career as a presenter into being an event specialist. And then what I did is I moved into the event organizing side of it. So I started very small. I went in just being a features manager, I sort of helped out doing things to sort of get my feet in and figure out, once I was in that pool of people, where do I fit inside of this? Where can I see my skill set being utilized to 100% of its potential whilst I'm working in this industry that I absolutely love? So I already knew how to be a host. I already knew how to run the stage. I already knew all those things. So my obvious move would be to go into stage management, which is what I first did. So I started managing stages because I had friends who were in bands. I've met bands before, you know. I've been on stages where I've been managed myself as the host and as the talent. So it was kind of like, okay, well, I think I could do this. And I stepped into the role as a stage manager. Then from stage manager, I took the next level up and became the features manager. And then from features manager, which means I'm controlling all of that stuff. Then I moved into being event manager. And from event manager, you move up to event director and you start moving up the ladder to the point where you're the one who's then putting on the event. So you're then going out and speaking to sponsors. You're going out and speaking to people who want to become part of the actual event. So yes, in short, not really a fallback. And I wouldn't say it's a fallback in my career that I've said, well, in case it all goes upside down, I best make sure I have something in the background. What I did is take what I was doing and develop a career inside the event industry. And that's what I did. So moving from being a host into being in the back, that was a very smart move from my side, because then if I wasn't working as a host on events, I could go and do, you know, stage management somewhere. I could go and do event management somewhere. I could then, I mean, the one thing that I love to do on the other side of the production industry is actually to be a show caller, which is that's where I fell into it now. And the show caller is the producer of the show. And I've show called many events where I am the producer, but I'm a very organized human being. It's what I do. I pride myself in being the guy who's got the lists, and I've got the guy who knows what's happening and, you know, can see everything happening inside the event and put that into the flow. Now, there are many amazing show callers inside of the UAE. A lot of them will be like, to me right now, but, you know, they're much more experienced than me, but I've been in the position as a show caller, and then I'm now renowned on both sides of the industry, so I can go in and host it, or I can go in and work in production. The whole thing in Japan, in Tokyo at the Olympic Games, I was working on the production side, not on the hosting side. So yes, an alternative career is on the other side of the industry, but it's inside the same industry. So yes, I host on one side, but I'm also working heavily inside the production side of the entertainment industry as well. So you can have an alternative career inside the same industry, which is exactly what I've done.
Yeah. In fact, I would like to add on that if you find yourself that whatever you were thinking is not actually you are liking currently to do, it is very important to understand yourself first, what you actually like. Because maybe after, you know, or maybe looking at Hugsy, we all can feel, oh my God, we should also give a try and we can do it. But, you know, yes, but you need to assess your skills, whether you have those qualities and strength areas, because it's not necessary, you know, that something which we come in the awe of, or we look to a person as a role model, we all can, you know, replicate that same story. So discovering yourself and knowing yourself is very important. And I believe you should take psychometric assessments for that, and which will give you a value-driven data, and which can validate that if you are thinking about certain kind of a career, is it right for you or not? So, you know, it's a mix and match of both the things, experience, observation, plus a validation for your thoughts.
I mean, let me call it as it is. And on what you're saying there, you're 100% correct. I mean, from my side, it takes a very specific kind of person to work in this industry. It's not right for everyone. So yes, I've had a very lucrative career, how some people will see it, and some people see it as a very glamorous career. It's not. For me to get to where I'm sitting right now has taken so much time, has taken so much effort, has taken so much relearning of everything. I mean, I ran a production company in the UK, and I actually was producing show reels, which is it's like a visual CV for presenters. So, and the reason I did that is because I couldn't find anybody in London to produce a show reel for me. So I was producing show reels. So I met a guy who I was working in a bar with, who was a camera operator. We went out there and we made presenter show reels. What that did is give me a real great understanding of what it takes to be in the full part of the industry. So it's like, I'm now working, producing my own material. I'm editing the material. I see what's going out into the marketplace about me. And I was like, okay, how do I move this forward to inspire other presenters and other hosts that want to get into the market? How do I inspire them to then get to where I was going to? So yes, it takes somebody who is very determined and also super smart to be able to move very quickly around a very shark-infested industry. I mean, it's not an easy industry at all to get into. And when you're in it, to stay at the top of the game and to maintain the forward momentum and forward movement inside the career, it's constant and it's non-stop. And it's something that I have to, update websites, keep my social media running, make sure I'm staying present in people's minds. It's constant. And so to be that level of human where you're constantly pushing forward, you need to be so tenacious in this industry that if you're just going to come in and go, well, I'm going to try it. It might be an alternative career to myself. I'll go and train to be a doctor, but then I really want to be a TV presenter. It's not going to work that way. It's like any career that you're going to do. If you're not going to give it 100% of your time, don't bother, because this is a very, very difficult industry. And as you see now from modern technology that's out there, everyone thinks that they're a superstar. People think because they've got 10,000 followers on Instagram that they're a superhero. No, because I'll say this to you, and this is something that's so relevant in today's market. Being famous on social media is like being rich in Monopoly.
That's a good comparison.
So, yes, you may think you're relevant to a certain marketplace, but if you're not giving the right energy, the right information, and the right source material to make yourself validated in what you're trying to do, then really you're just in the air, So that's been the adage that I've sort of gifted to people as information, that don't be concerned about being famous on Instagram or on TikTok, or it's pointless unless you are monetizing that by way of being a specialist in the marketplace. Who cares? Because if you're not bringing value to the sector or the industry that you're looking to be within, then it's just words coming out of a screen that people aren't really caring or taking any kind of attention towards. So what's the point in doing it? Yeah. I sit there with people saying, I've got 50,000 followers on Instagram. But what's your engagement rate? How many people are watching it? What are people doing around your stuff? Are you relevant to the marketplace that you're trying to get into? If not, you may as well be rich in Monopoly, because that's how being famous on social media really is seen in the digital space and in the space that we're in right now.
Yeah. So this makes me, I want to ask you that how's the job market in terms of hiring? A fresher, I know you have made your place over a period of time. You have proved yourself at different point of times in different fields. But what about the fresh graduates or people who have just entered the market or have done a career switch? How the market is in terms of hiring, and is there any association or a body where the people can reach for a relevant opening in the industry?
Yeah, I mean, for people who are just graduating, I mean, it's a difficult market. I'm not going to try and glamorize it and say, yes, you'll walk into a job tomorrow. You won't. And this is why I'll come back to saying that being a specialist in a certain field will get you into this industry quicker, because people will look for specialists that can bring a level of information, a source material from somebody who is a specialist in the market or maybe has a unique talent. So the industry really is it's lucrative, but at the same time, it's very difficult to get into. And I think you need to know where you're looking to go on your career path before you consider moving into it. So it may be, for instance, with me, it was all about the voice. And I understood that my career was always going to be about the voice. And it was understanding how I take that skill set that I had and I move it into a career. Mm-hmm. And I always knew that if I was going to do that, I needed to surround myself with the right people. So it's really more about, there aren't really sort of, I guess, institutions that you could, you know, join to be in the entertainment industry. Yes, there are places around, but really it's more about the groups of people that you can be around. There are so many groups on social media right now that can actually support you going through this career path. Yes, if you want to join a big agency, that gets you into a sector of the market, if you like. But with regards to, can I go somewhere and be, you know, a chartered voiceover artist? No, doesn't work. And this is where I'll come back to this. And this will be something that is important. And we're going really back to the name up there in the corner. And that is branding and marketing in the modern day is the most important thing that you can do when it comes to being inside this. Whether you want to be a host like I am, you want to be working in any kind of the sector that is front of camera or front of house in this industry, branding is the most important thing you can do. How you market yourself, how you brand yourself, and getting into that really, really early from the very sort of from the get-go will really help you understand where you're going to go, what path you're going to go down as you move through the actual industry that is entertainment. Because it is so vast. And, you know, yes, there may be a government entity that looks after people who are in the stage. There may be a government entity that looks after people who are, you know, in voiceover or in hosting or in any kind of the event industry. There are always governing bodies that are there that are going to look over the industry and give advice. They're all out there. It's a case of just searching the internet and you'll find them. But most importantly, you are going to go into this industry.
Open to all kind of work.
Absolutely. I am. I look at every opportunity that comes up, no matter if it's not for hosting, I look at other opportunities for the production side of my career. Right now, I had a message from a guy yesterday. He's got 25 or 30 different categories of management inside of an event going out to Saudi. And he's asking me, would I consider going out to Saudi to work? Well, of course. I work as a freelancer. I work where the work is. So of course I'm going to take the opportunity. Is it hosting? No, it's not. But is it in the realm of what I'm capable of doing inside of the industry that I choose to be within? Yes. So I'll go out there. There's stage management opportunities. I'll go and do that. There's event management opportunities. I'll go and do that. So I guess you need to be extremely open to sort of accepting many different opportunities that come your way inside of this industry. So I guess when we're talking about government entities you can go to get advice, there aren't a lot out there. But what there are is some amazing groups on Facebook that are on, you know, things like, I mean, I don't know if you guys have it, but on Clubhouse, you can go and do all of these things. And there are people on there, much like myself, who are happy to give the advice, happy to sort of push things your way. And also to, not to plug my own stuff, but I'm going to plug it. I'm just about to launch a website called Media, and Media will become a meeting place for professionals in the industry where they'll be able to go and speak to each other about finding a stage manager, finding a show caller, maybe finding people who are in the industry that can come and help them running a festival or can do the ticketing at the festival. But on the other side of that as well, it's also where people in the event industry can come and find talent. So again, as an entrepreneur, and that's what I sort of see myself as anyway, as an entrepreneur, I've seen a gap in the market and I'm about to fill it. And the website's ready to launch on Sunday.
Mapping the openings with these skills.
Yes, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what sort of skill set you think you have, that skill set that you have as an individual can be utilized and used inside of the sector that is the entertainment industry. So maybe you don't think, well, I'm not the smartest guy out there. I was that guy. I wasn't the smartest guy out there, but the bottom line is I had the determination to get where I wanted to get to. And I understood that I needed to weave this little path of my own little journey to get where I wanted to get to. So I've taken jobs where it's been next to no money, but I've learned so much stuff. And this is what I was saying to the start of this, that yes, education-wise, I've got a lot of education inside of the media spectrum, but I've learned more from being on site, from being in an event, from standing in front of a television live, going with a microphone on, going, someone in my ear counting down from 10 to me starting talking and me thinking, oh, what do I do? And you learn, because if you fail, you look like an idiot. Yeah. But if you do fail and you look like an idiot, great, because you only do that once. But the next time, you definitely won't do that again. You'll be going, okay, I'm not going to be that idiot again. People laughed at me for about 10 minutes. So that kind of thing I would say is my advice with regards to what you asked about any institutions or government institutions that you could do. It's really more about getting in with the tribe that is the entertainment industry. We are a weird bunch of people, and we like to share and get people involved. I've brought people onto my stage as a stage manager. I've brought them in and I've taught them on the job more than they would have ever learned inside a college or university. And I think if you have the confidence to maybe ring an events company saying, look, I'm happy to come on as an assistant stage manager or just a stage hand. You know, I'm happy to work for free for a couple of days. If you want to keep me on, great. Let's talk about paying me some money. That's what the smart people would do. That's what I would do. Damn it, I've just given away all my little trade secrets now.
Right. You're giving tips and tricks to hire you.
Take them, run with them, make some money.
Yeah. Wow, great, Hugsy. It's already been an hour. We have done this conversation and it was so nice. I think we'll take up the last question, which says how to deal with a failure. Have you had any that you can share and how you dealt with it? So
oh my gosh, I've had so many. Mm-hmm. I guess one of the biggest failures, I don't go to the negative spectrum when it comes to, failure. To me, it's not a failure. It was an opportunity that wasn't fulfilled to its greatest potential by myself. I don't see it as a failure because every time I do something, I'm learning. Every time I do something, I'm saying, oh, actually, I wouldn't do that again. So it's a learning thing. It didn't fail. I did the job. I did what I needed to do. Maybe it wasn't done to my exacting standards, but it got done. And next time, I won't do that again. And next time, I won't do this again. Or I won't say that anymore. Or I'll approach it in a different way. Because if we don't learn from our mistakes, even if they're small mistakes, then how do we correct it and move forward, to make it better the final time and the next time and the time after that? So, of course, even now, 15 years of being at the top of my game in the UAE, I learn every single time I go on stage. Yeah. It could be that I've got, somebody else on stage with me I've never worked with before. And I've got to learn how that person hosts and learn how that person interacts with the crowd and how that person interacts with me. So it's constantly learning all the time, which is an amazing thing. So failure-wise, there's been a lot. Yeah. And so many,
owning your failures.
More to be crazy. But
just own your failures. Just, they give you so much of learnings because failure is it's a validation that you tried something. People who don't try anything, who don't fail about it, you are just into your comfortable zone. So failure is a big thing that you are doing something worthwhile.
But also remember this, and take this away with you, everyone that's on the call, take this away with you. Failure is only in somebody else's mind and in your mind. And if you allow failure to come in, it will defeat you.
Yes.
And you need to make sure, no matter what you're going to do in life, entertainment industry, being a lawyer, anything. If you allow failure to become part of how you recognize your success and your path in your career, you will never move forward.
Yeah.
You need to see that a failure in somebody else's eyes is a lesson in your eyes. And then with that lesson, you move forward. So you then correct what someone thought was a failure, and you make it a success the next time and the next time. And you keep growing and keep growing and keep growing. We are human beings. We make mistakes. We have what people class as failures. But the bottom line is only you are the one who is in total control of destiny that's taking you down the path of your life. So if you value what just happened as a failure, you're allowing the negativity in. Doesn't need to be there.
Yeah.
Move forward, stay positive, stay happy, do what makes you happy, and you'll be happy for the rest of your life. And that's
a wonderful thought, Hugsy. And it's such a wonderful approach towards your own, failures. And it gives you motivation to get up and do something new, or try to work on the reasons why it happened. So owning up and having a positive attitude can do wonders for you.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah. Thank you, Hugsy. Thank you so much.
Thank you
For your time. It was a wonderful conversation. I think we should plan for a 2 or a 3 hour webinar next time. We have so much to talk about.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I really
thank you so much. And I will do what I do whenever I'm on stage. And I will end this conversation by saying, Hugsy, out.
All right. Thank you. Have a great week ahead. And thank you so much. This session very interactive, and I also thank to the Insta Live people who have been there and listening to us. Thank you so much, and we will come back with many more topics soon. Thank you. Have a great week ahead. Bye-bye.